straight edge is a song that I wrote.
Yeah.
And I coined the term, I guess, in doing so. None of you all seen the lyrics, the handwritten lyrics, they're really funny because you can see that, like, I originally written, you know, I don't want to sit around and smoke this spliff. And that so clearly, like, relates to the Bad Brains, because the Bad Brains had gotten into reggae or spent, like, so much time smoking dope. And I think that was really, like, a little comment to them that I had to, like, it didn't rhyme with coke. And change that. But, you know, again, it's contextual because, you know, growing up in the 70s, people were getting high all around me. Like I had, you know, when I was 11, I used to sit with my friends while we were getting high. Like it was, you know, I just never got high. I just never smoked pot. I was not interested in it. It just seemed like a drag, you know, when you could be building a fort or a, you know, I mean, really, my sense, like when I was a kid, my parents, we had a refrigerator in the basement, and that's where they kept their Schaefer beer, right? And my father would sit me down to get a Schaefer beer every once in a while, and I'd bring the can up, and I would think, this beer, I have to start drinking this when I'm 18. That was the drinking age at the time. I was like, at 18, I have to drink this. This is like adult soda. And I have to drink it for the rest of my life. And I thought, like, well, why on earth do kids want to start drinking it when they're 12? Because you have to drink when you're 18. You might enjoy this 6-year reprieve, right? But you know, my friends really got into it, and then it was just ridiculous. Like the amount of time it would spend, like, how do we get some beer? Let's, you know, we're trying to buy some beer. Let's steal some beer, or they would also like, you gotta buy some dope, and then like, we need money to buy dope, so they would break into cars and buy things. They would steal things like, you know, really useful things, like half of a dictaphone or something like that. Things that are like, you can't sell to anybody. Just really random things, like, you know, somebody's like a wire clipper from a telephone guy. But that's all they thought about. So for me, it was not what I wanted to do in my life. And then as I became a teenager, it became more increasingly the case. Everyone was just getting high. And because I didn't want to do that. And so then I became sort of an object of derision. People would make fun of me for not getting high. And in Wilson, I was called the group conscience. You know, so I'd go live at a party and go, oh, here comes Mr. Lecture. I'm like, but you know, really, that had a lot more to say about them than me. The guy was not lecturing people. You know, there's a lot of stories about me running around slapping beer out of people's hands and stuff. It's just not true. It's just not true. You know, I mean, do I care about people? Yeah. And if people like, you know, like having like a high school friend of mine, like who like passed out and was vomiting at school, and then like it was so passed out he couldn't wake up. Did I think it was a good idea? No, I didn't. Do I think he should stop drinking? Probably at that point. He was in 11th grade and was like dying, you know. And so yeah, I was opposed to alcohol at that moment. Yeah, but I think that by and large I just didn't do it. So then, you know, I kind of declared that, like as a punk rocker, that was my deviancy. Like I was a freak because I didn't get high. I was a freak because I didn't drink. And I decided to write a song about it. The first one I wrote about it was really in the teen idol. I wrote a song called I Drink Milk. And it was a joke, you know. He said, you know, everyone was like, let's get some beer. And I was like, I drink milk, you know. And the lyrics were absurd, totally absurd lyrics. But the response was so vicious, and I thought, all right, like, then I wrote the song Straight Edge, which is really a song about, you know, my life, live my life just the way I want to. It's about a person's right to live how he or she wants to live. That's it. Well, and ironically, was heavily inspired by a song by Jimi Hendrix, If 6 Were 9. And in that song, he says, I'm the one who has to die when it's time for me to die, so let me live my life the way I want to. And I thought, yeah, I mean, that's the reality for all of us. It's our fucking lives. We should be able to live how we want to live, barring not injuring the people next to us, right? Or any people, not just next to us. So, so I wrote the song Straight Edge about that. And you have to keep in mind that the amount of people I was singing to were fewer than were sitting in the room at the moment. It did not occur to me that this was going to be something that would be like heard outside the context of my own weird Washington, D.C. punk scene. I wasn't thinking beyond that. I certainly wasn't thinking that I'd be sitting in the auditorium of the Corcoran talking about it for 30-some years. Wouldn't have occurred to me. I was sitting to my friends. After that came out, it started the dialogue. And I can tell you, when my friends started to tour, the first movements we ran into were counter straight edge movements. We'd get to a town, some guys like, we're curved edge. We're the vintage movements, like we're the round edge. They were bad. They all want to fight. Actually, they really want to do is run on stage and tear my shirt off. I lost so many shirts tonight. It was a shirt. I didn't say anything on the shirt. It was, a shirt. I like having a shirt. But then it became a movement. Other people imagine it to be a movement. And I would say that 90% of the people who identify as or with straight edge are really just trying to do the right thing in their lives. And more power to them. I'm really glad that I wrote a song about sobriety, not about heroin. I think a lot about people who write songs about glamorizing heroin. And if people are emulating me and not getting high, then I assume people are emulating the people who sing about heroin, and some of them die. And I feel the same about gangster rap. All these guns, a lot of people died because they're emulating some song. I'm not against gangster rap, it's just an interesting scenario. Having said that, there's a small percentage of people involved with straight edge or have in the past involved with something they call straight edge who have used that as a device in which to exercise their own demons, their own violence, and they've approached it as a sort of fundamentalist call, and in doing so have done a lot of damage. And that's too bad, but that's a phenomenon that is a human problem. It does not relegate it to straight edge. It's in every nation, in every church, and most football stadiums. So people are always looking for a reason to fight.